So you're here because you're feeling burnt out. Welcome. I'm going to break a few things down in this video. You see, often guys aren't burnt out. They just lack structure in a few key areas that give them energy, vitality, and drive. Quite often you don't need a break. You just need a system. And I'm going to show you a system in this video. This here is an empty calendar. This is an empty coffee cup. I've seen guys fill this thing up before they've filled this thing up. Now, you might be thinking, that's a weird example to give, Johnny. Well, it's actually not. This thing is often filled with coffee, a great stimulant for getting you thinking, maybe helping with exercise, maybe helping with giving you some energy that you're lacking. This thing, a calendar, when it's empty, is the worst thing ever. Now, they're just two examples of things that I've seen time and time again of people loading up on stimulants, emotional eating, and thinking that just doing whatever, whenever, is actually going to help them, when in actual fact, they're burnt out because they haven't managed this thing well. Now, you might be thinking, isn't this a fitness channel? What the heck's this guy talking about calendar management? Let me break it down for you. If you structure your week well, you've got 168 hours to manage. I want you to think about those little blocks, not as time, but as energy. And you've only got so many to give. So if your inability to properly manage your time or your new frame of energy, if you can't manage that well, and you're thinking that you're going to do a better job by smashing coffees, and for some of you, maybe some nose beers, and trying to get through the day, living on stuff that's false energy, instead of managing your own better, it's not going to happen. So let's crack into some real life strategies on how we can make that better for you. So you're sleeping okay, you're eating all right, you're going to work, you're getting the things done, right? You're taking care of the basics, but you're still fried by 10 a.m. Or maybe you're that person that's mid-afternoon and you're just cooked and you sit there wondering, how am I going to have the energy to do the family stuff or to be present for my partner when I get home? Because I'm already struggling right now and it's just during the day. In this video, I'm going to break down why, in my experience and the experience of a lot of my clients, men can feel really burnt out. And it's not just about getting enough sleep. Sure, that's a key part of it. It's not just about having energy, because we can't just click our fingers and get more energy. We have to do things and we have to not do certain things to get the energy back. So energy production is part of the strategy, but it's not the whole answer. And quite often it comes back to a lack of structure, a lack of truly leading the day and taking charge of things like your calendar and your phone and your ability to control where your energy goes. And so in this video, I'm going to share with you and give you 3 key strategies that we use inside CXO and the coaching programs to make sure that people get their energy back. And it's not going to mean that you cut your workload. It's not going to mean that you have to sleep 10 hours a day and train 5 hours a day. They're simple and they're easy to implement. And we're going to go through them right now. So let's get into some signs of structureless living. But just before I do, I just want to remind you that if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, there's a big button below this video. Press it so you don't miss out on any future installments or hot tips that are going to help you get your fitness, nutrition, and mindset really dialed in. Oh, and if you are ready to get things dialed in the description below, there's a link to a 15-minute phone call with me personally. If you do that, we'll just have a no obligation phone call. We'll have a powwow. We'll get to know each other a little bit, but most importantly, I'll identify if I can help you with a roadmap call. From there, if it seems like a fit, we can book in a roadmap call. Now, if we do that, it's as simple as this. We'll jump on Zoom, look at each other just like this, and we'll go through the CXO blueprint. And during that call, we'll personalize a roadmap for you to get you from point A, where you are now, which is probably not where you want to be if you're watching a video like this, and get you to where you want to be, point B. So what does that road actually look like? And we'll create a roadmap. So the worst case scenario for you after that roadmap call is you've got some action steps. You've got the call recording. You basically just get a coaching session. So if I can help add value to your life in that way, make sure you take advantage of that and jump in the link below. Okay, so here's the meat you've been waiting for. Lots of guys that I know through coaching, family, friends, old work colleagues, etc. They feel burnt out because they've genuinely got no structure. They may have structure around their work time. So whether that's in a business and they've created systems and structures in that business to help them manage their time, or they're given systems and structures, or SOPs if you like, in a workplace to follow and make sure that they adhere to. Both of those things, they've got a lot of systems and structure around what it is they're doing day to day, week to week, and even sometimes hour to hour within the workday. But outside of that, to do with fitness, nutrition, mindset, stress management, and genuinely looking after yourself, or in the CXO way, becoming the chief exercise officer in your life and just genuinely knowing how to take care of yourself, they have no clue what to do. So often it can be that you're not burnt out, you're just lacking structure in those areas. Your brain can get really overloaded, your habits are loose, so you're just doing whatever, whenever, and your priorities are reactive. The phone dings and you race straight to it. Someone needs you and you drop everything and run. You need to create some systems, structures, boundaries in your life to make sure that you're protecting the energy that's going out. Here's some classic things that have affected me and have affected the guys that I coach. Firstly, you're pressing snooze, staying in bed, don't want to get up, delaying the inevitable. Whatever you're waking up into, you don't want to face. Whatever you've got to do as soon as your feet hit the floor, you're avoiding. Next one is mindless doom scrolling. Picking this thing up like this first thing in the morning, doing thumb exercises. You would be better off moving your body than your thumbs. Next one, skipping workouts when you know you need to be training. You gotta hit the gym. You've gotta lift weights, challenge the muscles, put your body and mind under load, make it get stronger. Now I do have two more to share with you, and then I'm gonna go into a quick story about a client of mine that I've helped, just to give you some real life context so you know that I'm not just some random on YouTube spitting out whatever I've found on the internet. They're actually helping people, real life people, day to day, implement these things into their lives. The next one's winging meals. Just eating whatever you want, whenever you want, opening the pantry and fridge and hoping that there's something in there. There's no system there. There's no structure. There's no opportunity for you to fuel yourself well because you're just living reactively. And so you can see how all these little habits just lead one into the other, and they don't actually get you anywhere. And lastly, living in reaction mode all day. I mentioned a couple of these things earlier, but every time the phone pings, you got to race and pick it up. Checking social media apps and emails every 5 seconds to see if there's another red dot or there's another notification that you can use as a little bit of a dopamine hit just to get you through that next minute or next hour. And let me tell you, refreshing your emails 6 times an hour or more for some of you, and hoping that there's going to be some drastic change or some exciting news in those things. Now that may happen occasionally. Maybe you're waiting for some finance for another investment property or to buy a home. Maybe you're waiting for an answer to an invitation for a podcast. Or maybe you don't know what's coming and you're just hoping that whatever it is, it's going to be great. That will not help you. If you're tired, burnt out, stressed, lacking structure, you need to implement structure and systems in your world. That's why I said earlier, I'm not convinced that it's genuine burnout. I think it's a lack of discipline and a lack of structure bleeding your energy daily, weekly, monthly, and it's all just stacking up. So a guy that I coach, right, he was like, dude, I have no energy. I've literally just got no energy. I'm absolutely burnt out. And when we did a roadmap, we broke everything down and we got really, really specific on what he was doing and how he was spending his energy. He just had no structure. He literally just had no structure. Now, this is someone, and I've seen this many times, guys that are really, really intelligent, really successful in their business or their work, but they're just not managing their energy well. And they're not doing things to make sure that they have their full vitality. So he wasn't training, wasn't eating well, wasn't getting outside in the sun, wasn't getting steps in, so he wasn't moving very much during the day, and he wasn't present for his family. And he was feeling the effects of all of those things every day, every week, every month. What made this picture worse, and something that I just mentioned earlier, he was checking this thing every 5 seconds, like it was just gonna magically make him feel better. And I've been there. Creates dopamine, man. When this thing dings, when it goes bing, when money falls in your account, when someone sends you a message, these tiny little bits of dopamine. And that's cool for about half a day. And then it wears off and you continually look for it, but it doesn't fix anything. You have to manage your energy better. You know, we get so caught up in thinking that we're really important and that if we miss a notification, maybe the world will end, maybe the business will close down, maybe I'll get fired from my job, but it's just not the truth. The truth is there's no structure, there's no discipline in the areas of our lives that truly matter. Side note, my clients, family, friends will know this about me. From midday on Saturdays until Monday morning, they probably won't hear back from me. I won't see their texts. I won't see their missed calls. I won't see their emails. I won't see their messages. I'm offline as much as possible. Sure, there's the odd weekend where there's some work to be done, or I'm going away the next week and I'm just going to catch up on some things. But for the most part, it's on Do Not Disturb. Mum, dad, my wife, they can get through the Do Not Disturb function. I've set it up that way. But apart from that, you can't get through to me. It creates downtime. It's a boundary. It's a calendar management tool that I've put into my world, into my business and my life so that I can manage my energy better. Because if I'm protecting my energy management and I'm creating structure and making sure that I don't burn out, I'm so much of a better human in the time that I need to be on. But back to the other guy. Now, two things that we didn't do. We didn't change his sleep and we didn't change his workload. Because a lot of people think, oh, well, if I'm going to get healthy, if I'm going to start doing things well, I'm going to have to the coach or whoever it is going to make me go to the gym for 5 hours a day and do all these extra things and sleep for 9 or 10 hours. And it's just not the case. There's just some gaps in the time that you're expending most of your energy that you need to restructure. That's as simple as that. So we did that. We implemented systems, we implemented structures that I'm going to share with you right after this into his calendar, into his world, into his energy management. 2 months later, sharper, more control, fitter, healthier, less body fat, sleeping better, more present with the family. It all adds up. We need to make sure we get a hold of all this stuff or it'll get away from you. So next up, I'm going to share with you, as promised, 3 key structures that we use inside CXO coaching programs to get the results that we get and make sure that the guys get systems and structure in their world to actually move the needle on these things. But before I do, I just want to say this. Things can change pretty quickly when you decide to implement change. Too many guys keep kicking the can down the road on this stuff. And I'm talking about things like weight gain, body fat increase, muscle atrophy, health problems, they're stressed, they're burnt out, they're anxious, they're depressed, they're turning to things like drugs and alcohol and other women and all kinds of wild things to try and deal with often. Not all the time, and I'm not trying to cast blame, but I'm just saying, often it can be from a situation that's created by us. And so I would encourage you to look inward, look in the mirror and work out, is some of this stuff in this video relevant for me? Is some of this stuff my fault? Are there things that I can actually implement change on today? Because there is, 100%. If you're still watching, there's something you can change to better yourself from today. Righto, here we go. The 3 key structures that I want to share with you so you can implement change from today. Now, you're probably hoping for something really dramatic and really awesome and things that you haven't heard before, but I'm not going to give you that. What I'm going to give you is 3 really practical, simple things that have helped me and helped a bunch of my clients genuinely implement change as quickly as possible. Because we can talk about the long-term stuff, we can talk about the hypey stuff if you want to. You can probably find that on another channel. Number 1, set yourself a bedtime alarm. A bedtime alarm has been really, really key for me and a lot of the guys I coach. Why? If you go to bed whenever you want and you do whatever you want leading up to bed, we can often wake up into chaos. We start pressing snooze. We know there's a lot to do as soon as we get out of bed and you can delay what you've got to do. So if you've got a bedtime alarm, it means before that happens, you know it's coming. So it adds a bit of pressure. You got to get your stuff sorted for tomorrow. You got to eat a good dinner, get the cleanup done, get your breakfast stuff sorted for tomorrow, get the coffee pot ready, make sure there's ground coffee ready for when you wake up. There's all these little steps to make sure that tomorrow I'm going to wake up into a systemized, structured environment so that I can get done what I need to get done as distraction free as possible. Also means that you need things like the calendar that we spoke about earlier. It needs to be dialed in. You don't want to be waking up, spending the day with gaps in the calendar. Fill it up with stuff that's actually moving the needle. And for a lot of you, it's getting the health, the fitness, the nutrition, the stuff to do with your mindset and your recovery into the calendar so it doesn't get missed out on. And I just want to say this, you can't keep working late into the night, into maybe the early hours of the morning and expect that delaying looking after yourself, getting to bed on time and getting some control around how you manage your energy and time is going to lead to positive, good outcomes. You are not magically going to arrive at some destination in the future with the success that you want, with the finance you want, and maybe whatever it is that you're chasing and be in a prime, optimal health state if you haven't put effort into those things along the journey. So put simply, kill the late night TV, kill the doom scrolling, kill the working in the office till the early hours of the morning, get to bed, get a great sleep, and you can start with a bedtime alarm. Number 2 is some morning movement. Something simple. You don't have to go crazy here. A walk with the dog, a walk with your partner, go to the gym, get some mobility in, do some yoga, something to get the body moving. Please don't think that I'm saying you need to operate like a social media influencer and do a sauna, an ice bath, 68 push-ups, dip your face in some iced water, drink 6 herbal teas, and whatever else everyone's telling you to do. You don't have to do that. All I'm saying is create a simple method for yourself. Implement something in the morning to get yourself going, so you're not going from laying down in a bed to sitting on a chair for the next 10, 12, 14 hours in the day. You actually want to move your body. So some guys that I coach, they love going for a morning stroll. Some people like to go out and have a chat with their partner when they wake up. Some guys like to just get in the gym and just get out all that energy and really pump the weights first thing in the morning. I'm more of a mid-morning trainer. I like to do some work and use the most activity I can out of my brain in the early hours of the morning. And then when I don't have to think as critically and be there for clients, maybe 11 a.m. just before lunch, I'll hit the gym and I'll expend that energy because I don't have to think as critically. I just got to lift stuff up and push it around and pull around the gym and then go home and have lunch. What I'm saying is find what that is for you and don't do what some guys do and try it once or twice and just say, well, I tried that and it doesn't work. You need to do things consistently. You need to add discipline into your world and make sure that what you're doing, you've actually had a really good crack at and you can work out if it is for or isn't for you. Now, number 3 is planning tomorrow today. And you can go one step further than that and plan next week, this week. You can plan next month, this month, or next sprint, this sprint. It's really important to make sure you plan ahead or you're literally just running around like a headless chook. I've done it before, sucks. I lightly touched on this in point number 1, but to elaborate a little bit further, you need to make sure you know what your 3 meals are the next day. What am I having for breakfast, lunch, dinner? What are my snacks? How much water am I consuming? What time am I going to the gym? What time am I meeting my trainer or my accountability mate at the gym to get the session done? Which means I need to leave home or the office at this time. You know, it's like reverse engineering the process. Like I said, so many of us do it with work and business, but we just fail to do it with actually looking after ourselves. And so if we know what our meals are, when our training is, what the priority tasks are to do, what that morning routine looks like, what I'm actually doing when my feet hit the floor, it's motivating, it's inspiring, it's encouraging because I've got a specific plan. There was a time where I used to wake up and I would just literally go into overdrive and just do as much as I could. I had no plan, no system, no structure, and I would just do whatever popped into my head. I would just go task, 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 task. My point is, eventually, doing life in that overdrive state, it leads to burnout. It gets you to a place where you just have no cognitive capacity left or no mental real estate, I like to call it. So you may choose to fuel that sort of lifestyle with coffee, drugs, whatever you're into, but it will stop. You will burn out. You'll get to a place where you can't do it anymore. Now, I've tried the too much coffee route. It gave me the jitters. It made me anxious. It didn't lead to a good place. And I've seen people try the drug route where they're relying on nose beers or whatever else they want to put in their body to get them through their lifestyle. That is not a great outcome, and it probably won't lead to long-term success. So, in summary, planning tomorrow today. Like I said, you can plan tomorrow today. You can plan next week, this week. You can plan next month, this month. But most importantly, to summarize those things, it's getting used to setting yourself behavioral goals so that you can make sure you're leading from the front daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, knowing these are the action steps I need to take every day to look after myself and get the things done that I need to get done in my life. So if you're still around and you're wondering, well, where to from here? What do? I just want to close out with this. You're not broken. You're maybe a little bit burnt out, sure, but you're probably just unstructured and undisciplined. And that's something that I just love helping people sort out. The amount of times I've heard guys say, I need a reset. You don't need a reset. You need a routine. You need a structure. You need to dial in one habit at a time. You need to change one lifestyle thing at a time. You need to change one environment, one food, one meal, one training routine, one thing at a time to make sure that whatever it is you're changing is actually benefiting you. If you change everything all the time, it's too much change and you'll just keep chasing your tail. I've seen it time and time again. The reason I keep coming back to structure is because structure gives clarity, clarity gives us direction, and direction gives us results. And it's really important that if you're chasing a more high-performing, high-functioning brain and body, you want results. You don't want to be chasing your tail. So I hope that video has helped add value to your life and helps you think about some things that you can implement from today, from now, to make your life better. Like I said, don't forget, in the show notes below is that 15-minute call link if you think that I could help you in some way. Make sure you subscribe. See you in the next video. Talk soon.